Good morning, students. Among the different religions that is practiced in India, one of the religions is Jainism, which you have to study in interreligious studies. Jainism, traditionally known as Jain Dharma, is an ancient Indian religion. Followers of Jainism are called Jainas, a word derived from the Sanskrit word Jina, meaning victor, and connoting the path of victory in crossing over life's stream of rebirths through an ethical and spiritual life of Jainas. They trace their history through a succession of 24 victorious saviors and teachers known as Tirthankaras, with the first being Rishabhnath, who according to Jain tradition lived millions of years ago, and 24th being the Mahavira around 500 BCE. Jainas believe that Jainism is an eternal dharma with Tirthankaras guiding every cycle of Jain cosmology. The main religious premises of Jainism are ahimsa or non-violence, anekantvad, many-sidedness, aparigrah, non-attachment, and asceticism. The most authoritative sacred text of all Jainas is the Tattva-Varth Adi Ghatma Sutra by Uma Swami. Mahavir preached a non-theistic religion of moral purity and excellence in which man was at the center, and the main aim was to liberate man out of the chain of karma and rebirth in which he had fallen. Religious philosophy. Jainism makes a distinction between jivas and ajivas. Therefore, it is dualism. It is also pluralism as it recognizes an infinite number of animate and inanimate substances. It is also metaphysical realism. They also hold that every atom has a soul, but it is not jiva because they do not have sense organs. The soul is both permanent and changing. Based on extension, Jainism divides substance into two classes: those that are extended in space and those that are not. Although Jainism recognizes souls, it rejects the notion of an ultimate universal soul. As regards the characteristics of jiva, that is the soul, it is stated that there are infinite number of souls. In fact, the whole world is literally filled with them. The souls are substances, and as such they are eternal. Again, their characteristic mark is intelligence, which can never be destroyed. Further, the soul is ever all perfect, all powerful, but by ignorance it identifies itself with matter, and hence its degradation and trouble starts. Jain philosophy starts with a perfect division of the universe into living and non-living substances, jiva and ajiva. The non-soul substances are of 5 kinds: pudgal, that is matter; dharma, that is medium of motion; adharma, that is medium of rest; akash, that is space; and kal, that is time. A dravya has got 3 characteristics. First, dravya has the quality of existence. Secondly, it has the quality of permanence through origination and destruction. Thirdly, it is the substratum of attributes and modes. Gun paryayavad dravyam, combination of attributes and modes. Every substance has a combination of essential qualities called attributes and accidental qualities called modes. Insofar as substance has attributes, it is permanent, and from its modes perspective, it undergoes origin and decay. For example, soul or jiva is a substance. It is a combination of permanent attribute gun of consciousness, while pain and pleasure are accidental modes or paryaya. The dravya is thus uncreated and indestructible. Its essential qualities remain the same, and it is only its paryaya or modes that can and does change. Now, the salient features of Jainism. The basic features of Jain religion follows from the philosophy of Jainism. It is an atheistic religion believing in no creator like God behind the world. The world, according to it, is essential, it existing, and works by its own inherent laws. It is a religion of moral and spiritual purity, aiming at the elevation of man to the state of perfection and Godhead. Thus, although Jainism does not believe in God, it believes in Godhood, which a man can attain by following the path of moral and spiritual discipline. Jainism takes the world as perfectly real with all its plural beings. The world, according to it, is a function of 6 externally existing substances, 5 material and the 1 spiritual. Man has got an eternal conscious substance within him known as the jiva or the soul. In fact, all living beings have souls within them. Only the soul of man is most developed because consciousness in it is the most manifest. Man's soul is potentially perfect and is capable of attaining infinite power, infinite knowledge, infinite faith, and infinite bliss. Jainism believes in life after death, which is either in the form of rebirth, the transmigration of the soul from the old body to a new one, or moksha. Moksha is the final liberation of the soul from the chain of birth and rebirth. Jainism believes that the present state of man is the state of bondage, which is due to his own past karmas. Actions done with passion are the poison of the soul, and it is these which cause the soul to be born. Thus, Jainism believes in all the chief Hindu doctrines of karma, rebirth, bondage, and liberation. Man suffers due to his own karmas, and there is no other explanation of human suffering. Liberation can be attained not by offering rituals to gods and goddesses, but by following the path of 3 jewels: right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Jainism emphasizes on the value of moral conduct, under which ahimsa is the most emphasized virtue. Of others, purity, chastity, non-attachment, compassion, love, fellow feeling are much emphasized. Jain ethics of bondage and liberation. The most significant aspect of Jain philosophy is its ethics. Final aim of Jain is to liberate the soul and gain Keval Jnana. The soul is in bondage due to its association with karma. Soul is a possessor of four infinite qualities of infinite faith, infinite power, infinite knowledge, and infinite bliss. However, passions and cravings which spring from ignorance cause the soul to become associated with matter, and its original qualities are contaminated and the souls become finite. The passions which cause bondage are Krodh, Lobh, Man or ego, Maya or delusion. These are called kasai or sticky substance because they cause matter to stick to the soul. Now the soul, because of kasai, attracts the flow of karma towards itself. The nature and number of karma pudgal attracted by the soul depends on its own karma. The matter intermixes with jiva just as water mixes with milk. Thus, in our body, we find consciousness and matter in every part. The soul remains coextensive with the body. Since karma is what binds the soul, liberation requires the disassociation of the soul from karma pudgal. This can be done in a two-step process, that is samvar or stopping of the influx of new matter into the soul, and nirjar, wearing out of the already present karma pudgal in the soul. When this process is complete, the soul attains Keval Jnana and the state is called moksha. The liberated soul transcends samsara and resides in Siddha Sila, where it dwells in its eternal and infinite attributes. The indispensable path to liberation requires three things: right path, right knowledge, right conduct. Together they are called three ratna or three jewels. Since ignorance is the root cause of bondage, it can be removed by knowledge alone. But right knowledge can be attained only by faith in the teachings. Thus, right faith is necessary. It is right conduct that perfects the knowledge that is gained. Hence, right knowledge is dawned when passions are destroyed. Right conduct. The aim of Jain life is to achieve liberation of the soul. The ultimate goal is to get rid of one's karmas or their soul so that they may end this cycle. Once this goal is reached, their soul has attained all knowledge and it rests in the heavens forever, that is nirvana. Karma theory is about actions and the results they bring to the soul's path. Triratna. Basically, Jainism teaches a threefold discipline called the discipline of three jewels or Triratna, which one can get rid of bondage and attain liberation. This threefold discipline is the discipline of right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. By right faith, it means to have a pro attitude, a sense of respect and regard towards the Jaina principles or towards what the Jaina Tirthankaras have said and advised. In following a disciplined path towards moksha, the Jainas believe that the first requisite is to have faith in the spiritual values taught by the Jains and the Siddhas. Unless one has faith in these, he cannot proceed on the path towards liberation. By right knowledge, it is meant the knowledge of the nature of things in the real perspective. It is the proper knowledge about the real nature of living and non-living substances. According to Jainism, knowledge about the nature of these substances and also of the distinction between the living and the non-living is regarded as right knowledge. Right knowledge is very essential for moksha according to Jainism, because we have seen that the root cause of bondage is ignorance. It is karmas done with passion which bind, and as such, karmas are all the results of ignorance. So, right knowledge about the true nature of things and about the distinction of the soul from the material substance is necessary. Here, knowledge means inner realization. Right conduct means right faith or right knowledge, which is important for liberation. Right conduct is also necessary. Jaina gives a long list of actions that constitute the necessary ingredients of the behavior of everyone, whether he be a householder or a monk. These 5 vows are Panch Mahavrata in Jainism, and they are as follows: non-violence, ahimsa, truth or satya, non-stealing and asteya, celibacy, that is chastity, and it is called brahmacharya, renunciation, which is called aparigraha. These principles have impacted Jain culture in many ways, such as leading to a predominantly vegetarian lifestyle that avoids harm to animals and their cycles. Parograha jivam, the function of the soul is to help one another, is the motto of Jainism. Jainism is an ancient religion from India that teaches that the way of liberation and bliss is to live a life of harmlessness and renunciation. Now, the sects of Jainism. Late in the 1st century CE, the Jainas split into 2 sects: the Digambaras or the sky clad, who used to beg and eat food only once a day, maintain the vow of nudity. Monk or nun receives peacock feather whisk to remove insects from his or her way. Women cannot attain salvation in this life, but rebirth can change their status in the next life through the karmic effects of austere living. Believe genuine canons of works lost and follow varied writings. Shvetambaras or the white clad wear plain white robes, nudity optional. Novice monk or nun receives a whisk of yarn to remove insects from his or her way. Decorate images with clothing and ornaments. Another sect wears a cloth across the mouth to prevent insects being swallowed. They also are against image worship. The philosophy of Jainism lays a strong foundation for the beliefs, practices, and generally the religion of Jainism. The metaphysics of Jain philosophy deals with the fundamental distinction between the living and the non-living beings. The epistemology of Jainism is non-absolutistic and is with specific logic of Syadvad. The ethics of Jainism deals with the 3 famous gems and the 5 great vows.